Hello and welcome to the commentary box. This is my second episode of my League One podcast. I'm very excited to be doing it. The first one went well, predictions wise. Yes, I thought I'd make another and just to start the video on a little bit of an update. Me and Sam have been discussing all of our podcasts we do here on the channel, when they're going to do. Obviously, we have our weekly football podcast, very general. Me and Sam together, and then we obviously have our own individual ones. Sam's a bit of an MLS expert, so he likes to follow that, and he's going to do one of those. And I'm a bit of a League One, well, I wouldn't say expert, but League One fan, and sort of following Gillingham a little bit, but being more general because I think League One deserves a little bit more coverage than it gets because it's quite a decent league. So the football podcast, the general one, will be out every Wednesday. And then my League One 1, will be out on Thursdays, and the MLS one on Fridays. But that will be alternating weeks. So 1 week it could be the Football One and MLS on Wednesday and Friday, and then the next week it could be the Football One and then the League One. So the Wednesday and Thursday. So that's sort of the order it will be. But to go straight into it, and you would have seen by the title the main three things that we talk about, it will be Sunderland, Bradford and Accrington. I'm going to look back at last weekend and the results, and also going to look forward and see what's happening. But I've chosen three teams to sort of go into depth here. I think Sunderland's a very interesting one to go into. As we all know, they went down from Championship last season. Chris Coleman was their manager, not anymore. They currently have Jack Ross, who as a manager hasn't managed too many clubs. I think he's managed Aberdeen, another team, only a couple of Scotland teams. Doesn't seem to have the most experience in the world, but as we know from football, anything can happen. You could have a manager with no experience and one with loads and get completely different results. So we'll have to see here, but I would have thought in a time like this, I understand that maybe experienced manager hasn't really worked out for them in the past, but to go from someone from the Scottish League, possibly someone from League One who knows the league a bit better, could be a better option to choose, but they've chosen him. They signed a couple of new players. They signed a player from Baldwin, called Baldwin, from Peterborough. He's got quite a few goals under his belt last season for them. Also signed Flanagan, Tom Flanagan, used to play for Gills. Then he went to, I think, maybe possibly Fleetwood, and then went to Burton. He's a centre back, very tall. He's half decent, but he's not amazing. I guess they don't want to sign players, obviously, now, if their manager's not got experience in the league, they want to get players who've got experience in the league. So, those are just a couple of players I saw when I was having a look online of who they got. Still got some of the old players, like Katamol, Honeyman, Watmore. However, they've lost all of those big names they used to have, the likes of Kazri, Azoro, Dilaboji. I think Dilaboji could still be there actually. Kone, he's definitely gone, or possibly out on loan. But they've lost those big players, which it's hard, and I understand why they would have left. But you want those players still in the squad. You need those players still in your team when it comes to these hard times. You've got to stick together, and it just shows possibly a little bit of a lack of commitment. But obviously, the likes of Catamol and there are still at the club. Their most recent result, they started the season off to a win. They won 1-0 down, but they managed to get a 2-1 victory against Charlton, so they're doing okay. It's going to be interesting for them. I think they're going to have an okay season, but we'll see. I'm sure I will follow them again, but as a little bit of an update on Sunderland. Hopefully this sort of format of my podcast goes well. Obviously I've not done one before, but I'm thinking maybe 2-3 teams. At the first episode anyway, I'm looking at manager, recent results, old players and new players. See how it goes. Bradford, the next team I've got here, they've been in League One for many years. Obviously they used to be in a Championship a while ago, but never really sort of found the form or that perfect season they've hoped for. I have tipped them to go up actually via the players. Manager Michael Collins, it's his first managerial job. Interesting. No, don't really know much on him, to be honest. I don't know he's the next player. Going to see how he goes. New players, they got Jack Payne. They got him from Huddersfield or Sheffield Wednesday, someone like that. He's done well. He used to play for Gillingham as well, and he's a good midfielder. He's quite young, but whether he's going to sort of get into that third team, I don't really know. Because he just, wherever he goes, he doesn't really sort of crack into that third team like he did at Gills. They've also signed another ex-Gill player, Josh Wright. They put him as captain. Now, he used to be captain for Gillingham. However, I wasn't a fan of that because he's one of those captains who he plays by example. Personally, I wouldn't say believe, but I wouldn't want that in my team. I want a captain who's going to shout, he's going to be vocal, he's going to be letting people know where to go. Sorry, I am on holiday. I do wake up early to make sure I get the breakfast and go to bed late, so I may be yawning a little bit throughout the podcast. But yeah, he's not one of those ones where necessarily I'd want him in there, but we'll see. He's the captain. I particularly don't think it'll go well. I think it will work out well for Bradford, but I don't think at the time that was right for Gillingham. Old players, they got Hansen. He's been there years, donkey's years. He's the big, tall, physical striker, always a presence, always winning headers, always scoring goals, very consistent for them. Adam Chick's in the left back. He played for Charlton. He also played for Gillingham. A lot of players get around in this league. There was a lot of loans. He came on once on loan and he played very, very well. I was disappointed we didn't sign him. Then he came again on loan. Over the moon he came. He played appalling. He played really, really poor. So hopefully he plays well for them and they get a decent season. Their recent result was a 1-0 victory against Shrewsbury. That's going to be a good result because Shrewsbury were very good last season. So to get a good result against a good team this early on, it'd be good to have in the bag. Now, Accrington Stanley, the last team I'm going to sort of focus into on today. League 2 champions last season, gone straight up. Their manager, John Coleman, he's been there from 2014, so he's been there about 4 years now, obviously. Took them up, he's done well with them. He sort of started to build a team. A couple of new players on a free. They've not really paid out anyone at all. They've just got like 3 players for free, and then old players they've let a couple of go to free, one undisclosed one. But when you go to the champions, obviously you've done well. You've got to invest a bit though. I think that's going to be tricky. I don't think they're going to do as well as they would want to if they're not really investing. I understand they've just won their league, they've gone up, they've got a really good squad. But are they going to have what it takes to sort of be that top team that stays up? Because it is a difficult league and you've got to invest to some extent. So it'll be interesting how they go. Their most recent result was a 2-0 loss to the Gills. Yeah, I saw the highlights of this one, quite a dominant display. To be fair, they did have one cleared off the line, but it was quite a clear, dominant result all round. So those are sort of my mini fact files, shall we say, on those 3 players. I'm just going to talk briefly about Gillingham. I will mention them every video. They are the team I support. Obviously, we got that result. I didn't really go into them too much. Our new signing did score. Hallen, set up by our other new signing, Reece Charles Cook, I believe definitely Charles Cook. Whether his first name is Reece, I'm unsure on that. A little update on the league. I'll also do every episode. This is sort of hard to do. Gillingham are in second. I think Barnsley are in first. So it's not. It's unrealistic. It's hard to look at them. A little look ahead. Oh, I apologise. To tomorrow's fixtures. Now we have an interesting day for Gillingham, which will be today, and we have Burton Albion. We got them at home. It's the first home game of the season. It'd be great to get off to a winning start. I think a lot of people have been saying this season they want to try and turn Gillingham into more of a sort of a fortress sort of thing, and sort of make it more of a threatening place to come and sort of have a bit about them. It would be good to have this season. I don't know too many of the other results. I know Sunderland have got a fairly okay game, but like I said, this is the first one. This is just a draft. Hopefully, the 3 mini fact files, a little bit about Gills, a little bit update on the league, a little bit of a look towards the new fixtures, and then obviously any other stories revolving around League One in the week. So yeah, this has been Jake from the commentary box. If you look on our main podcast, I was unable to make it, however we did do a predictions video, and it will be interesting to see how far off me and Sam are at the very end of the season when we have all of our predictions done in paper. But yes, this has been Jake from the commentary box. This has been your second episode of the League One podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed.